Welcome, everyone, to Tales of the Rupture. Join me as we step into a world 300 years into the future. 300 years after two separate catastrophes changed the world. It was during a time of global conflict when the world's nations were at war with each other. First came a strange event which shattered the world, resulting in the spread of thousands of distortional anomaly fields across Eastern Europe. An event that boiled oceans, shattered continents, an event that became known as the Rupture. The world leaders, believing they were witnessing the deployment of a new weapon of mass destruction, in their fear, unleashed their nuclear arsenal against their enemies. Nuclear fire rained across the sky, and the survivors fled to underground bunkers and caves. But the city of Krakow, Poland remained untouched. Standing just outside of the rupture's influence, its infrastructure was left mostly intact. 300 years later, and the rupture's influence remains. We now see a world that is hideously changed, life mutated as a combination of the rupture's influence and the radiation from the nuclear storms that rained 300 years ago. Various different factions have formed, one of which is the Vatican. From the remains of the old papacy came a new organization that had adopted a theocratical rule led by a man named Archbishop Ferdinand de Morosini. The other faction is the Coalition of Free Traders, a capitalistic organization led by a group of powerful merchants known as the Trade Committee. They rule out of the remains of Wawel Castle in Krakow, Poland, where they profit from the trade of these strange objects that are known as artifacts. The artifacts many regard as the fruits from the rupture, strange objects that can serve as either trinkets or as powerful objects. We start our story in Krakow, Poland. But before we continue, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our characters. We will start. Migo, please introduce your character to the audience.
I will be playing Migo, a knight of Saint Ignatius, a member of the Vatican, a 8 foot tall, 1 ton hunk of armor, uh, who purges the wastelands of heretics and sinners.
Very good. Willow, would you please describe your character to the audience?
Willow is roughly 25 years old, 5 feet tall, long wavy white hair, blue eyes, um, tons of freckles all over her face, mostly located just below her eyes. Um, and she wears a gold pendant around her neck.
Very good. Clemmens, can you please describe your character to the group?
Oh yeah, I play Clemmens. He is a man in his 60-something-ish winter. He's got white hair, white beard, wears lots of leather. He is accompanied by his dog, who is named Dog, and dog is the doggiest dog that has ever dogged, and is much better armored than Clems. He's just an old white guy.
Very good. Svyatogor, can you please describe your character to the group?
I will be playing Svyatogor. I am named after ancient Russian hero, folk hero. Uh, I am mushroom mutated mutant scientist, and I am on the run from the scientific authority. I tend to keep my face and identity covered at all times because of these things.
Very good. Cyn, can you please describe your character to the group?
I will be playing the character Cyn. She's in her mid-20s. She is about 5'7", wearing an aqua green dress, long flowing black-brown hair that rolls naturally. Upon closer inspection, you'll notice a large smile-like scar on her face. Not all. And you look into her eyes, you'll see they're lively, but an emptiness behind. And that is
Very
Cyn.
good. Very good. Before we continue with the story, I'd just like to take this moment to address the viewers. We operate on a system that we call cosmic intervention. In the comments sections, please let us know who your favorite character is and what you like about them. Before we post the next recorded session in a week, we will take a count of who gets the most votes. Whichever character gets the most votes, I reward them a cosmic intervention point. That point can be used for a single free reroll of any 1d20 dice. Also, if you like what we are doing, please consider donating to New Dawn Creative and Interactive Services, and please continue to support us. Without further ado, go ahead and begin Tale of the Rupture. We find ourselves in the remains of an ancient church that has existed in Krakow long before the Great War ever occurred. This is St. Mary's Church, a wide, large main gallery with stained glass windows, candlelight, pews, and enough space to make anyone walking through its massive doors appear small. There is a large altar with the figure of Jesus Christ on the crucifix, and there is about a dozen people in the pews. At the head of the altar is a very lean, scrawny old man who has seen about 60 winters with olive-colored skin and gray hair. He is flanked by two large figures wearing armor made from scrap metal plating with various different parchments sealed with wax secured onto them. A symbol of men who are members of the Holy Order of St. Ignatius. They are a group of men who are raised from a young age to execute the orders of the Vatican, oftentimes with extreme prejudice. They are exceptionally good fighters, and their loyalty and faith is beyond question. They all turn as they witness a new figure walking through the door, entering St. Mary's Church. You enter, Migo. You arrive to Krakow on a mission where you were requested by the father of the Vatican's mission in Krakow. You have arrived. The man at the head of the altar turns, and he greets you with a smile and outstretched arms. This is Father Cornelius de Francesco, father and head of the Vatican's mission in Krakow. What do you do, Migo?
I'm going to approach and kneel at the altar.
Father Cornelius will stand of you and place a tender hand on your massive shoulder. Rise, my son. It is wonderful to see that you have come. You must be Migo the Tower that I have heard so much about. How did you find your journey, my son?
Slow, as all my travels are.
I trust that the perimeter guards of the Coalition did not give you much trouble coming into the city.
Other than a few foul-mouthed words. But that is not the mission I have been sent for, so it will be something I handle another day.
I see. It is rather unfortunate that we live in such times. There is much animosity between the Coalition and the Vatican. As you are aware, Migo, the Vatican in the past has attempted to capture Krakow, which is the main city that the Coalition rules for 300 years. And it is only 60 years ago have they negotiated a non-aggression pact and a somewhat of a trade agreement, due in large part to Father Cornelius's family. One of the conditions that the Vatican had placed to the Coalition is to ensure that a representative of the Vatican would operate St. Mary's Church. Father Cornelius will motion for you to next to him on the pews. He will not, however, ask that you sit down, as he is well aware that to do so might cause the pews to break. I have brought you here on a very important mission, my son. I would not have requested support from the Holy See if I saw any other alternative, but I'm afraid that I am left with few options. As you are aware, there's much tension between the Coalition and various elements that exist in the ruins of Ostrava to the west. There are many that do not agree with our current stance to the Coalition. They think that we are doing nothing to help further our Lord's cause in these parts. It has gotten so bad that many of them have taken to banditry and savagery. Roll me, Mingo, a 1d20 plus 2, please.
11.
You sense something unusual about Father Cornelius as he looks to the ground. He shakes his head, and you sense something. Genuine sorrow. I remember many years ago, my son, when I first took over the mission here in St. Mary's Church. I did so in a humble heart and with much enthusiasm. For a very long time, there's been too much animosity between us and the Coalition. Too long, unnecessary amount of lives have been wasted, and for what? We are not called by God to harm our fellow men, but to love thy neighbors. For it is not love that conquers all. My son, He pinches the bridge of his nose and he begins to weep. It pains my heart that I must ask this from you, my son. For some of these men from Ostrava have taken to engaging in violence. I loathe violence. It is not the way of our Lord. But I fear that I may be left with little recourse. That is why I call upon you, my son. These men must be brought to see reason, even though I fear it is unlikely they will. Know that what I ask you to do, I do not ask lightly. But I think of all the lives lost to maintain what we have, it makes me weep. My own father, during the last crusade, was felled. I vowed from that day forward that I would strive to bring the denizens of the Coalition to see that the way of God is better than the ways of material greed in this region. He takes a cloth from inside of his robes and he cleans his face as he looks up directly at you, Migo. I have made arrangements for you to meet a guide outside the city gates of the North Gate. He will take you to a region where these men are beginning to mobilize and scout. You must stop them. If they trigger conflict with the Coalition, they may see it as the Vatican's violation of the non-aggression pact between us, which could result in another crusade. We cannot let that happen, my son. It would ruin everything that we have accomplished so far. Do you understand, my son?
They will be purged, Father.
You witness as Father Cornelius sinks his face to the ground, looks as if he's trying to examine the cracks. He shakes his head as if he's looking for anything, any potential means of resolving this without violence. But no answer comes. He shakes his head, nods. I will arrange for you to have all the provisions that you need. Now, go, my son, and may God be with you on your path. What do you do, Migo?
I'm going to nod and start making my way out the door. I am going to take a split moment to glance over at Brother Kyle, whom I recognize from my years in training when I was chosen for the Rites of Iron Benediction over him.
Brother Kyle does notice that you are glancing over to him, and he immediately approaches. There is a measure of enthusiasm in his expression, but also one that seems something along the lines of envy. The great Migo the Tower. It has been a long time, my brother. How have you found the journey?
Low, egregious, rife with sin.
No, I envy you. You get the opportunity to take the fight to the enemies out in the wastelands. I daydream of the time when we will be loosed upon this heretical place, so that we may enforce God's will. While Father Cornelius is a very competent man, I fear that he may possess a heart too tender for what needs to be done here.
Brother Kyle, I will explain one thing to you. The reason I was chosen for the rites over you was because I understand that God's will must be accepted, not forced. And for the simple fact that I am capable of bearing the sins the rest of the church isn't. Trust and believe the lightest sin that I carry still weighs more than my armor. And I'm going to walk out the door.
Give me 1d20 plus 2, please. Before
13.
you leave, you will notice something else on Brother Kyle's face. It borders along the contempt and jealousy. Eventually, you leave the St. Mary's Church. You now cut over to the North City checkpoint. Krakow is protected by a massive wall of shipping containers lined with concertina wire and the occasional makeshift pillbox with machine gun posts. The city is protected by a group of men whose descendants came to the city as refugees fleeing from the violence east. Many of them are of Chechnyan and Arab descent. They adopted a culture that is a strange cross between Norse's mythology and Islam. They are men who are born and bred for one purpose: to fight. From a very young age, they are trained in martial arts and firearms, and they protect the perimeter wall, oftentimes with their lives. These men harbor a deep seated hatred of the Vatican, as there was once a time that the perimeter guards numbered in the tens of thousands. After 300 years, there are only 800 of them left. Clems, you find
Yeah.
yourself waiting at the north gate. You are given a letter that, along with a payment of scrip, 200 scrip exactly. Scrip is the main currency that is used by the coalition of free traders in this world. One scrip is the equivalent of purchasing a day's worth of food for one person, so it is no small amount. The person who sent the letter did not say who they belonged to or their affiliation, but it said in the letter that you were to serve as a wilderness guide or the agent, whom you will know him when you see him. The rest of the payment is contingent on his safe arrival back to the city after his mission is completed, in the form of another 200 scrip. As you were waiting at the North Perimeter checkpoint, you are in the company of the security chief of this checkpoint, a man who has served the perimeter guards for many winters, a man named Alburj Alasef. He is a burly man wearing full integrated body armor. He keeps his face covered with a traditional Chechnyan skull and is carrying a refurbished AK-47 assault rifle. Clems, it's been a very long time since you have been around these parts. You don't come to the city very often. How have
Not the
things
biggest
been?
fan of the city, no. I'm just, man needs script,
I understand, and maybe even a good drink to boot sometimes. How long are you going to be in the city for?
I am waiting on someone who I am beginning to think is a young man, because only young men truly disrespect an older man's time like this. I don't rightly know, but hopefully by the time I get back, I will have taught Dog how to hold his cards when we're
I,
playing
under-
blackjack.
I understand that you took him into one of the taverns of the brewery district and tried teaching him to play card games. If you managed to do that, I would certainly love to see how that pans out.
Sir, I did not try. I succeeded. There is a difference. But, and he's gonna put his hands over Dog's ears. Dog is a fucking cheater. I know he can count. Acts like you don't.
Well, no matter. Next time you're in town and I get off my shift, we could definitely stop for a drink. Just as you are having this conversation, you witness a massive figure decked out in armor with a very large shield and a strange looking flail that looks kind of like an incense burner. One thing that you notice that stands out with this figure is that he has a series of parchments sealed with wax onto various sections of his plate armor, indicating that he is a member of the Holy Order of Saint Ignatius. Immediately as he approaches, Alburj al-Asef and his men stand upright and begin to look and glare in his general direction. Before you approach Clems, Migo, Alburj al-Asef will stand and interject himself between the two of you. He is shorter than you are, but he looks up to you with defiance in his eyes. Well, well, well. A member of the Holy Order of Saint Ignatius. I thought you would be at Sunday school by now, preaching the good word. What's the matter? You get ran out of the city?
Unlike you, who only walks around a certain perimeter, I actually have missions to complete. So if you would so kindly move out of my way.
Your missions. Killing people in the coalition because they won't accept your foolish dogma. We don't want your trouble here. We don't want your kind in this city. Maybe you could try putting that ability of yours to the test if you think that you can stand against one of me or my men. You notice, Clems, as many of the other men start gradually raising their weapons to the low ready. What do you
He's
do?
gonna shuffle on over there and raise up both his hands. Like, come on, guys. I'm pretty sure that this big motherfucker right here is my current mission. Could you maybe wait to kill him until after we go, come back, and then he's not my responsibility anymore?
Alberto Shalasef looks over his shoulder at you, Clems, and then looks back up and stares Migo directly into his visor. Get out of our city, choir boy, and don't come back. If you fall in battle, or get eaten alive by a mutant, or get torn apart by a distortional anomaly field, we'll not shed tears. In fact, I may even have a drink to celebrate. Now get out!
I kind of thought I was the asshole in this situation, but come on, kid, let's go.
Migo's just gonna kind of force his way past him, and walk on over to Clems, staring down at him, basically staring at the top of his head. I'm assuming you're the one to be my guide.
And I'm assuming that you are the one I'm guiding. He's gonna stick out his hand. My name's Clems.
I'm going to reach down. I want to my hand is going to take up like half of your forearm. The name's Migo the Tower.
Alright, you go to the tower. This right here, this is Dog. He's gonna gesture down to Dog.
Greetings, faithful companion.
And, I guess we are traveling together for the time being.
Clems, according to the note that you received, it tells you to guide the client to the west of the old Highway 74. This is a fairly empty and untamed region of the Coalition's territory, far from the tiered zones where the distortional anomaly fields are a threat. But there is rumors that there's a new band of raiders that are forming in this section of the Coalition's territory. You were given no other instructions beyond escorting him to the first region and to assist him as necessary. Is there any preparations that the two of you make before getting on the road? You will all start with 7 days worth of water and food rations.
For Clems, no. He doesn't really trust any of the people in the city to adjust his weapons. He does it himself. He's got his food and water. He's got food and water packed on dog for dog.
Migo?
I'm ready to go.
We cut over to a section further into the wastelands northeast of the city of Krakow. A section that most of the city is never explored. An area that only the homesteaders who, despite the many significant dangers of the wastelands, they still manage to carve an existence here. Whether it be raising livestock or growing food, raising a farm. But here, this one cabin serves as another purpose. Cyn, describe your hideout in the wastelands.
So, Cyn's hideout is a desolated. What was the word? Cottage that was left abandoned some years back. She has taken up refuge inside of it. There is a semi-functional garden in the back with a smoker actively billowing smoke.
Then you begin to feel the tingling sensation on the back of your mind. You're perfectly aware of what this is. It is an attempt to communicate to you telepathically. Immediately, within a few moments, you begin to hear a familiar voice inside of your head. A long time ago, you were taught to control your mutations by a gentleman who goes simply by the name the Caller. Greetings, my Cyn. When you have a moment, I must see you here at our cottage with Willow. There is something that we must discuss of urgency. Please come to our cottage at your earliest.
Inside, Cyn said she's going to say, okay, I'll be there in a few.
Outside of your cottage is a vast forest. 300 years after the rupture, and much of the vegetation that grew here has long overgrown. The area of Poland where this region exists has been left mostly untouched by the nuclear storms, and the rupture's influence did not extend this far. We cut over to another small cottage. Willow, please describe the cottage where you and the Caller reside.
Probably this cottage is a little bit run down, probably a little bit of holes in the roof. Your typical run down of the mill type house that's been abandoned for God knows how many years.
Caller, who is sitting in his usual corner of the cottage, has his hood pulled down over most of his face. His hands are kept hidden beneath his cloak, and the only indication that he is somewhat humanoid is the glow from his eyes, which glow bright green, and the green light that runs down the veins of in his hands. He lets off an aura that is both one of power, but also of genuine warmth. It is very clear that he is heavily mutated from the exposure of the rupture's influence. This man has been a mentor and even to some degree a father to other mutants in this region. To you, Willow, he has been just as much a surrogate father as anyone else. He calls out to you, Willow. Child, when you have a moment, we must discuss your training. Have you gone over the text and manuscripts that I asked you to?
Yeah, I think so. One of these is getting a little hard, though.
It requires continuous study and meditation. Always remember that your abilities are granted to you by powers that are constantly vying for control. Without patience, temperance, and discipline, those powers will consume you. I fear that the time may come where you will soon need to utilize them. Always remember that the powers that I taught you were meant to serve the greater good for mankind. There is a grave misconception of who we are. Those in the Vatican see us as monsters, as sinners and heretics. People of the Coalition mistrust us because they see us as potentially dangerous. And they are not entirely wrong to suspect us of being dangerous. For it is the very nature of the powers beyond the rupture to invade, to control, and to impose their will upon the weak. I myself have learned to control its influence and its powers through decades of study and meditation. Now, as you hear the caller lecturing you, you hear a knock at the door.
She'll cautiously approach the door, thinking that it might be the Vatican that's showed up somehow.
As you open the door, you see a familiar face. You see Cyn, another lost soul who has come to the caller for guidance on controlling her own unique abilities. What do you two do?
As soon as the door opens and Sin sees Willow, she's just gonna lunge forward and just wrap her into a bear hug. Hi, Willow!
Through excited squeals. Glad to see you!
Sin's
must
gonna
be
release
like-
Willow.
You hear the caller in the corner actually use his voice. It sounds very strange, almost ethereal, as not like a human speaks. You cannot see his face clearly. The only indication that he even has a face is the bright green glow of his eyes from beneath his hood. Cyn, I am glad that you have arrived. Come, sit. We have much to discuss.
Of course.
Now that you are all here, I am about to tell you something that may be disconcerting. In my mediations with the influences of the rupture had begun to sense that there is a group of men who I believe will be hostile to us that are amassing to the west. Willow, open your mind to the powers and influences of the rupture. Tell me what you see. Willow, roll me a 1d20 plus 2.
Sounds good. 12.
You're having a very difficult time. As you close your eyes, you shut off your senses and try and use the senses that the caller had taught you to use. You see what look like thousands of tendrils across the sky that are gradually creeping down to the surface. You recognize these as what they refer to as the spectorial lines, the invasive force that pours out from the rupture and attempting to find its own place in the material world. You try to focus towards the west. All you see are six men that have strange shaped heads that look like large cones. They don't appear to be wearing any armor, and they are carrying long, sharp pointy ends. You can't tell if it's a gun with a bayonet or a spear that are amassing further to the west, and that is all you get with that roll. Caller addresses you. You sense it now, child.
She'll kind of like shake her head, like, what are those things? I've never seen them before.
Those men, I believe, are denizens of Ostrava, a city far to the west controlled by the Vatican. I suspect that they are dissatisfied with the soft stance that the rulers of the Vatican are taking against the coalition. They are displeased with the inaction that they are taking and have decided to take matters into their own hands. These men are dangerous. They view anyone who utilizes the influences of the rupture as heretics and sinners. If they are to progress further east, they may pose a danger to all of us and to those who have learned to control their own mutations. We cannot let that happen. I have never approved of violence. I had hoped that I could teach others to learn to overcome their differences and maybe even convince other people across the wastelands that those who are mutated are not a threat. But there is only so much I can do in my condition. That is why I had taken you in, Willow, in the hopes that you would learn to use these powers to benefit others, and for you, Cyn, that you could learn to respect the dignity of life, despite what happened to you in the past. Now I fear that your talents will be called upon. These men are not easily dissuaded, if at all, and may require a more straightforward approach. Willow, Cyn, you realize the caller is trying to say that you may have to fight these men, but then the caller turns to you, Willow. I did not train you to engage in violence, and I know that you have a soft heart. There's no shame in this, child. That is why I've brought Cyn here. He looks over to you, Cyn. Go with her. Find these men. Stop them. They must not get past the main Highway 74. If they push further east, they may threaten the homesteads, and they may threaten us. Now, do any of you have any questions?
Why can't the perimeter guard take care of this? Don't they know what's going on?
There are too few of the perimeter guards left. They will not risk any of their own men coming into the wastelands and abandoning the walls. They lose too many, and the Vatican may see this as an opportunity to gain the upper hand on the coalition if they decide to end the non-aggression pact. If these men attack, and they are recognized by their Holy See as official members of the faithful, then the coalition may see this as a violation of that non-aggression pact, and a war may begin.
What about the church?
I do not know. My powers only extend so far. The Vatican rarely come into coalition territory unless they are on official business at St. Mary's Church. If they do get involved and you happen to cross their paths, I warn you, do not trust them. They will not understand what we are.
She'll nod her head.
Very well. Do you have any questions, Cyn?
We at least know the name of these people?
I do not. Rumor is that they claim to come into this place on pilgrimage to rid the wasteland of heretics, but that is all I know.
They almost sound as bad as Ray, and then she'll stop mid-sentence. The people that start with R.
I fear that they may be even worse than them. Those men are driven by desperation or by a lust for violence. These men, if they are indeed here on the suspicion that I have, then they are even worse. Men moved by blind faith who do not fear death are much worse and much more of a grievous threat than desperate men. Keep that in mind as you deal with them. Now go, take what provisions that you need, and may you always be in control. Before you leave, Cyn, the caller will address you telepathically. Do you hear the voices? Roll me a 1d20 straight, Cyn.
2.
The voices are loud. Your mutation gives you a link to an entity that you only know as He Who Sees All, or the All-Seer. He whispers into your mind at nights that cause you to lose sleep. Sometimes he is cryptic. Sometimes he taunts you. And each time you hear his voice, it's as though some kind of invasive life form is attempting to take over your mind. And the past couple of nights have been especially bad. Even before you answer, the caller will sense this in your mind. Strength, child. Do not allow the voices from beyond the rupture to influence your actions. Do not let the trauma of the past make your heart bitter against the others. For where there is power, there is the capacity to use it for the right reasons. For in the end, the influence of the rupture is a tool, one that could be used to build, one that could protect, but also one that can destroy and cause destruction. Steel yourself in the days to come, Cyn, and do not fall prey to his voices. What do you do, Cyn?
Uh, Sin with the pain in the back of her eyes. She's just gonna say, "I will try and keep my bearing in the physical realm."
Very good. Now go. You will have, each of you, between the 7 days worth of rations of water and dry food rations. Now, we cut over Svyatogor. Please describe your hideout.
Well, it's a gas station, like an abandoned gas station that you would normally find in the '60s, like with an attached garage. It's basically just a big open space with a mechanical workspace outside. Um, it's in rather an abandoned part of the world, like not too far from Krakow, just far enough that he doesn't get any visitors. At least not without the intention of visiting.
Very good. Svyatogor, you live mostly alone, with you and your various other specimens to help you study far away from the prying eyes of the organization known as the Scientific Authority.
Oh yeah, he's got like a little makeshift lab inside, and he's got a bunch of terrariums where he grows and breeds mushrooms.
I don't like that strange half pause between your and specimens.
The Scientific Authority is an organization in the Coalition of Free Traders that is the last bastion of pre-war knowledge and one of the last organizations left that utilizes pre-war technology. They dedicate themselves to the pursuit of knowledge above all else. They are led by a woman known as Dr. Tiana Walenska, who in recent years has become extremely powerful and very influential within the Trade Committee. There are many ugly rumors that Dr. Tiana Walenska is both brilliant and mad, who is obsessed with the idea of learning what caused the rupture, how the distortional anomalies have come into existence. There's even rumors that she will not stop at anything, even if it means sacrificing life to get what she wants. You, Svyatogor, realize that staying away from the Scientific Authority is not just a matter of protecting your research. For you, it is a matter of survival. But there is another threat in the area that is looming. During your last expedition into the wastelands, you noticed that there were a group of men who were not wearing any armor except a strange looking helmet that was in the shape of a massive cone. And even more disturbing was the fact that they had metal crosses grafted directly into their sternums on their chest. They were wearing a basic set of trousers, an ammunition and equipment belt, and they carried rifles with fixed bayonets. You were not spotted, but during your last patrol, you noticed that you're starting to see more and more of these men in the region. What would Svyatogor do?
Well, he would think to himself that this is very concerning. It is not often that you see grown men outside in the barren wastelands without any protection. They must have some other kind of protection to keep them safe. It's very curious. I will have to capture one of them and perform science experiments.
All right. Is there any preparations or anything that you wish to do, Svyatogor, throughout the course of this day?
No, probably not. Probably just going back to his gas station, making sure that he's not followed, and tending to his terrariums. He loves his mushrooms. Mycology
You mean
is
back to his man cave?
well, essentially it's not a cave. It's more like a station, a man's station.
There we go. TM.
All right, Svyatogor, roll me a 1d20 plus 4 for handling your specimens. This is to see if you manage to harvest any for today. Base difficulty for this will be a 10 if you roll.
Oh,
Okay.
lordy, yes.
Let's get off to a good start. Your terrariums have yielded a lot. Maybe it's a new fertilizer that you've introduced. You will make a note of this, and because you rolled a natural 20, I will give you this bonus. For the next week, you will make a small breakthrough that you have found a way to harvest your mushroom specimens at a faster rate. Because you rolled a nat 20, I will give you this as well. Instead of rolling not 1, not 2, but 3 d20s worth of research points.
Wow, 3.
3. Roll those bones.
Hey, Jason,
Okay.
I think everyone wants to figure out what research points are.
Research points for Svyatogor are what you spend time and specimen points for if you are dedicated to a certain line of research. In Svyatogor's case, he is attempting to research various different mushrooms and fungi that grow in the wastelands. For every 100 research points he accumulates from dedicating a specimen, he will roll 1d20. For every 100 research points he acquires, he can use them to purchase what I refer to as a breakthrough. A breakthrough can be spent one or two ways: for uncovering a forbidden lore or information that has been lost, or it can be used to make a powerful item, such as a cure for a specific disease, a powerful healing reagent, or a powerful stimulant. A determination can be made between the admin and the player. You have acquired 24 research points, Svyatogor. Now, we move over.
Hold on a second. What is the normal rate for harvesting mushrooms? Because you said for the next week, whoop, for the next week, there'd be an increase in frequency. So, like, what's the normal rate of growth?
Normal rate is 1 specimen per day. With the increased growth, you will get 2 specimens per day.
All right, thank you.
Yes. We cut over now to Migo and Clems. I'm going to make a roll, and how I utilize this in our system is what I refer to as an encounter roll. Whenever you travel in the wastelands, every day is a risk. Danger lurks around every corner, and you're never completely safe. We are about to find out what kind of encounter awaits Clem and Migo. Encounter a group of 7 men up the road. Mingo, Clems. None of these men are carrying any form of pre war firearms. One of them does have a crossbow, and the rest have various makeshift melee weapons, including 2 of them have a machete. One of them has a large pole with concrete on the end to serve as a makeshift club. And another one has a spear with a grinded down tip on an old rebar. They're wearing armor that is made from whatever scraps they could find, but it is very shoddily. These men are clearly raiders. What do you two do?
Clem's just gonna go ahead and get one of his guns ready. Not pointing at him, but definitely in his hands. And would these raiders have any prior experience with uh Clems, considering that Clems lives off the grid in like little burrow houses scattered pretty much everywhere?
Roll me a 1d20, and I'll give you a +2 to this because that seems like a fair justification.
Oh my god, Papa is being so generous.
When I'm being generous, it's not always a good thing. It means that I pity for what I'm about to do to you next. Thank you.
Like finding a bunch of health potions before you enter a large room.
Ah,
19.
interesting. Very interesting. Clems, you recognize these men, actually. These men, while they are raiders, and while they will fight and kill if necessary, they are mainly here to shake down anyone going up and down the road. They can be bribed fairly easily, or even if you offer them some food. But it is not advised to push them too far, as some of these guys, especially the one with the crossbow, are fairly good in a fight. The gentleman who leads this ragtag group goes by the name of Shiv.
And I would know his name.
You would know his name.
Clems is gonna squint because he got them old man eyes. He's gonna be like, "Shift, boy, what the fuck you doing?"
Huh?
I done told
Oh.
you, I'm not paying your fees, and I don't got shit to give you.
Ah, Clems, what the fuck? I mean, we're just trying to get by like everyone else. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Go into the city and slave away with that asshole who works in the brewery district? Why do
I mean,
any
you'd
work?
probably make more doing that than fucking stealing from poor people.
I don't like working, and neither do these boys. It's much easier to just take it from people coming up and down the road and wait, who's that big guy behind you? What the? Hey, that guy's a member
This
of
is
the
my-
Vatican.
It's my charge. Son, you're gonna calm down. Because if you're not gonna calm down, I'm gonna have to shoot you somewhere. Now, I knew your mom, so I'm probably not gonna shoot you in the face. But I also knew your dad, so I'm probably gonna shoot you in the dick.
Come on, Clems, don't get all uptight. I just think it's strange. I never figured you for a believer.
I believe in God and the power of script.
Don't we all? Look, I understand, and I really don't want to pick a fight with you, especially that big guy. But if I don't get something, the guys might lose faith in my ability to lead them out in the wastelands. You know how it goes. If I show any weakness to these little runts, they're gonna think that I'm just a pushover. So, how about you at least just play along so that I can show them that we got something to some script to spend later.
So he's gonna look at Migo and then look at the graders. And then he's just gonna take a couple of steps back.
Shit. Boys, Shiv orders several of 5 of his men to form a semicircle around Migo. But Migo, I need you to roll me a 1d20. I'll give you a +2 for this, simply because you guys are tried to engage in some measure of diplomacy rather than just jump into the fight unprepared.
What was my modifiers one more time?
+2.
+2. I'm getting a lot of those today. Another 11. I'm sticking around that number too.
You notice these men that are surrounding you, while they try to act imposing, none of their weapons are really any significant threat. But as you glance in the back, you see the real threat is the one with the crossbow, as he is clearly trying to get a bead on you.
I
What do you do?
am going to hold my arm out to my side with my flail, and I'm going to start swinging it slowly, and having the smoke start to plume out, spreading it around me.
Go ahead and make me a 1d20 +4. If you roll high enough, I will say that these men will intimidate these men into not pressing or more aggressive action.
Really? Oh man, the dice gods want me to fight.
Devil's Bargain. For the rest of the viewers, this is a mechanic that we use in our system. Whenever you fail a roll, I give you 2 Devil's Bargains, and the very basis of these Devil's Bargains is magnificently simple. Success, but at a price. Migo, your first option is this. You succeed in dissuading them, but before they retreat, the crossbowman will get 1 shot off at you. Option 2. They will be dissuaded and flee, but all of them will get 1 opportunity attack against you. Choose to fail, and we go directly into a fight. Make your choice.
I'm going to take option 1.
Contract is sealed. The Devil's Bargain has been negotiated. The men who are encircling you notice the plumes coming out. These are not intelligent men. They're brutes who steal from others that they think are weaker than them, and they're already on edge, fighting a member of the Holy Order of St. Ignatius. When they begin to see the incense burner and the plume coming up from it, they immediately assume that the fumes from it are hostile and begin instinctively taking steps back. Then they break off into a run, but the crossbowman will fire a shot, and because he got a beat on you, he will get a +4 to this. I need you, Bingo, to roll me a contested roll. 1d20 +4 against my 1d20 +4.
Another 11.
The
Have you tried
crossbow
a
bolt.
dice purge? Sorry.
The crossbow bolt is fired, and it's very apparent that he was aiming at a weak spot in your armor, but it bounces off of your plate. You are unharmed. Immediately after he looks up and sees that the crossbow bolt does no good. He immediately breaks off and begins running in the opposite direction. Shiv, what are you guys doing? Get back here! Shit. Hey, Clem, nothing personal, right? I mean, they did something stupid, and I can't be held responsible. It's not like I ordered the attack.
Shiv, I'm just gonna let you walk away. Next time, though, I am just gonna shoot you on sight.
Come on, we go way back, Clems. I mean, you knew my ma and pa.
I would like to grab Shiv by the throat.
You grab him by the throat, and he looks up to you with genuine terror in his eyes. What do you say, do, Migo?
I want to lift him up, like, just off the ground by his throat. Be blessed by God's mercy, and I'm going to chuck him away from me.
You chuck him over to the side of the road, and he rolls over about times. He crawls backwards on the ground in pure terror. He's like, okay, I'm leaving. We're leaving. We're getting the fuck out of here, man. Shiv starts running off into the opposite direction.
Clems is gonna look up at Migo and just be like, you're gonna be a real pain in the neck, aren't you?
Is that a play on words? Because I grabbed that man by the throat.
Well, it's good to see that you are at least as partially smart as you are big. Yes.
Funny. And I'm going to keep walking.
Meanwhile, we cut over to Cyn and Willow. You guys are making your way to the general direction of where the strange cone-headed men are operating. And I'm going to make a roll. On your way further to where you are headed, you begin to hear a gunshot in the distance. It sounds like a rifle shot. What do the two of you do? Cyn? Willow?
Cyn's gonna look towards Willow.
Do you think that was just someone chopping wood?
Cyn's just gonna tilt her head. You really think people are gonna be chopping wood this far in the woods?
Maybe? Please tell me that wasn't a gun.
It was. What do you want to do? Do you want to go try and go in quiet, or do you give me a scout ahead for you?
Maybe they're hunting wild game? Maybe? Go quietly, I guess. Well, I'm sure it's fine.
Alright. Cyn is going to draw her sword and get into a low stance and start sneaking her way closer to where she heard the sound.
Roll me a 1d20 plus 4, and I will make a contested roll.
10.
Okay. As you are sneaking through the bushes, you begin to see two figures, or three. One of them's lying on the ground with a gunshot wound in the head. The other is on his knees, who appears to be dressed in pre-war business casual clothes, carrying a large sack. The other one is standing, wearing dark clothing that is black with a hood that is right over his face. He is carrying a ornate short sword at his hip and a refurbished AK-74 with a collapsible stock in the low ready. The man on the ground pleads, Listen, I'm sorry. I told them that I would pay them back before. I just had to get out of the city for a bit. Please, don't kill me. Just a job, nothing personal. He points the rifle to his face and lets off another shot. The exit wound blasts out the back of his head as he collapses to the ground, dead. The man standing looks down with indifference and grabs an item from inside of the sack. You can't see the item that he liberates from the dead man's sack as he manipulates it in his hand before pocketing it. I don't know who you are sneaking around in the bushes. If you should come out and make yourself known. Otherwise, I will treat you as a threat and I will act accordingly. What do you do, Cyn?
Since it's pretty obvious that he knows she's there, she's gonna have her sword unstill ready, but she's gonna slowly emerge out of the bush, not making any attempts to advance forward, but keep her ground.
You see a man with dark skin, clearly of some African descent. But what's very particular about him is on his hands, where his veins would be, is bright blue light that seems to course underneath his skin, that all go up to his eyes, which glow with a bright blue aura. I need you, Cyn, to roll me a 1d20, and I'll give you a +2 to this because I think it would make sense that you would know who this man is.
15.
You recognize who this is immediately. There is a rumor of a man so accomplished, so experienced, that even the trade masters on the trade committee themselves send him on the most dangerous missions, and he always comes back. A man with few words, a man who many fear and all respect. He is simply known as the Warlock. What are you doing?
Get the Warlock!
Cyn is still gonna hold her stance, but lower her sword slightly. Oh, if it isn't the fabled Warlock. Well,
That's
we were
what
just passing.
many call me.
Well, we were just passing by and we heard the gunshots. I assume another kill order?
This man took something that didn't belong to him. They told me to make sure that he doesn't do it again. He glances down to the body for a brief moment before looking back up. He won't do it again.
That is very true.
Why are you here?
Truth be told, we are going to hunt this new, from what I can gather, fanatical group that is causing some trouble.
Well, I won't get in your way. I'll be on my own. He reaches up to his hood. He pulls it down as kind of a modest gesture of goodwill and as his way of saying goodbye as he begins to walk back down to the trail south towards Krakow.
As he's walking away, Cyn's gonna get the idea of, hey, why don't you join us? We could use the extra help, and you could possibly find some valuable things to sell.
Warlock pauses as he looks over his shoulder, and you could still see the hint of bright blue glow from his eyes. Valuable items. Like what?
Artifacts, weapons, armor, pretty much anything really. Even more script, if anything.
What do you know about these men that you're pursuing?
From what we know, they're fanatics from the Vatican, and they've been causing an uproar in the recent area. And with the threat of the coalition and the Vatican, you can imagine what would happen if they confused each other.
I see. I tag along. I reserve the rights to claim whatever loot you acquire. We'll do that and we'll have a deal. Is this satisfactory?
Half of what I get will go to you. That's a deal.
Warlock turns around and he approaches, pauses just short, and lets out an outreached hand to shake on the deal.
Can Willow just like fall right in front of the both of them?
The Warlock looks down, puzzled, as this strange woman falls down clumsily between the two of them. You're pretty clumsy. Who are you?
She's gonna like look up to Warlock. I'm Willow. Sinner, are you making friends again?
Friends, help, same difference.
You may regard me as an acquaintance and a colleague, but not as a friend. Friends get you killed, or they die because they cannot survive in the wastelands. For now,
No friends will have your back in the wasteland. The ones that you're probably thinking of are the ones that tried to betray you.
you have a pretty positive outlook, if a bit naive. I hope you're right. But we'll
If
see.
you have mine, I have yours. That's how it is.
Very well. We should head out soon. It'll be dark here in a few hours. Where are we headed?
Sin's gonna look towards Willow.
We're going west. There's some strange men. I'm sure you already are well aware about them.
A friend told me about them. Very well. We'll make our way there. The Warlock immediately begins marching towards the west. Meanwhile, I want both either Willow or Cyn, one of that group, and either Migo or Clems, someone from that group, to roll
I know
me
what you're
a straight 1d20. This is to determine how much ground you cover for the day's travel.
Go for it, Cyn.
Head for.
Are you gonna roll bird or?
Let me 7. Let me roll, yeah.
Wow.
Straight,
you guys
right?
Yes, a straight 1d20.
12.
Look,
So much
Migo is
for-
big as fuck, and Clems is old.
Yeah, you're quite the guide, bird.
Old fart.
Thank you.
On your way, Willow, Cyn, the Warlock moves at a very brisk pace. He moves with purpose, and he moves as a man who is not accustomed to wasting unnecessary time. He is familiar with this region of the wastelands. He even guides you on a path across an abandoned ruins of a small rural town in central Poland. There are several buildings that are here, some of them that could even be used as a suitable shelter. But it's towards the end of this town that catches your attention. There is an old gas station just up ahead. Gas station with several different multicolored mushrooms growing outside. There is signs of fire inside the gas station. What the Warlock will motion to the others, to Cyn and Willow. What do you guys do?
It is getting pretty late, but the problem is there's a fire in there and most likely people.
Maybe they're friendly?
What do you think, Warlock?
Warlock does listen to you, Cyn, as he steps forward. He keeps his weapon at the low ready. Anyone in there? I'm out. We mean you no harm.
That works.
Svyatogor, you hear this. There's someone outside of your lab.
Well, what? You don't need to break my door down. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Why do I'm getting visitors at this time of night anyway? And he's just mumbling to himself because he can't believe that he's being disturbed, like out at his lab. So he's going over to the door and he's going to look out the peephole,
It's the Avon ladies.
see who it is.
You see one of the in front of an average height man with dark skin and bright blue light glowing down his hands where his veins are. And under his large hood, you see two bright blue glowing orbs in the place of where his eyes are, clearly a sign of mutation. And you see Cyn. Describe your character real quick to Svyatogor again.
Cyn is a young woman with black-brown curly hair. She is roughly 5'7" in an aqua green long dress with white long gloves going up her arms. There is a large smiling scar on her face and a hollowness behind her lively eyes.
Willow, describe your character briefly again for Svyatogor, please.
You'll see a woman that's fairly short. She's about 5 feet. Kind of wavy, white hair, blue eyes, lots of freckles along her cheeks. She'll be wearing a brown dress with a white top, with a gold-like pendant all around her neck.
Svyatogor, roll me a 1d20 -2. You mainly stay confined to your lab and are not familiar with things that go on in the city, so that's why you're getting a -2 to this modifier. Go ahead and roll, please.
It's a 9.
Whoever this man is that's leading this group, he's carrying a pre-war AK-74, meaning that he has means, because pre-war weapons are very expensive. But what also stands out is that he has an ornate reforged short sword in the form of a Russian gladius strapped to his hip, meaning that this is a guy who is not unaccustomed to spending script on good equipment, meaning that he is potentially very dangerous.
Svyatogor, he's going to mumble to himself, "Oh, well, I'd wager that this is a group of mutants, and it's not like the scientific authority to hire mutants to go out into the wasteland, especially in groups." And he's gonna pause and wait for a couple seconds, and then he's going to yell, "Yes? Who is it? Why are you here?"
Warlock perks up. Shelter. We won't take any of your food. We just want a place to bed for the night. Will you accommodate?
Svyatogor, he looks over at his garage, which is open to the outside, and he's not using it. So, and then he looks back through the peephole, and he speaks up: "I have garage around side. You guys can bed there."
Very well. Willow, Cyn, set up camp. I'll have a word with this gentleman.
I'm not
Okay.
gonna lie. Willow's probably not paying attention. You mentioned mushrooms. She's
Yes.
extremely curious. She is absolutely gonna go and be looking at the mushrooms.
Roll me a 1d20. I'll call this a +2 because you're not familiar with these type of mushrooms.
You said a +2?
Yes.
13.
What is
It's very particular. You don't see these mushrooms growing in anywhere else around your cottage. There's something about them that is very unique. They almost pulsate like organs when you look at them, as if they're alive, pumping fluid through them like a heart pumping blood through the human body. And they glow with a certain brilliance, indicating that the cells within them are producing much more energy than usual mitochondria in other living tissues. This is very unusual for fungus.
I would like
That's
to
what-
specify that she is not touching these. But she is absolutely jotting this down in her little notebook.
Svyatogor, you will notice that the woman in the group takes a very keen interest in some of the specimens that grow around your garage.
Well, it sounds like you are here for conversation, and Svyatogor is gonna open his door, but he's got like a chain, like a chain on the door. So he's got that shut, and he's only opening the door as far as the chain goes.
Warlock will address you, Svyatogor. We're looking for some men. Apparently there's some kind of a fanatics. They might have ties to the Vatican. Have you seen anything like that?
Oh, hey, yes, it was just yesterday. I see men like this, like you described. Like they have cross grafted right into their chest, and they are wearing no armor and big pointy helmets. And he puts his hands like coming to a point over top of his head to kind of show what he means.
Iron caparotes. Definitely Vatican. I've never heard of the Vatican using pre-war weapons. Usually they stick to using ancient weapons, swords, clubs, and wearing thick armor, but guns? Strange.
Well, it looked like they were quite comfortable handling those big pointy guns. And Svyatogor, he's like so into talking and describing his day because he hasn't ever talked to somebody, or he doesn't talk to people very often. He lives alone, so having people and being able to talk to himself has got him like feeling really good, and he's forgotten all about being wary.
I don't suppose that you'd be willing to accompany us tomorrow. You seem to know this area very well. Maybe even better than me. Would you be willing to accommodate us?
In fact, I think I might be the best person to act as your guide. See, I don't. I venture very often out from my gas station to perform mycology mining operations. So I frequent the area, the immediate area, very often.
I'm going to make a roll for the Warlock. I'm just going to make this a straight 1d20. Interesting. You notice that the Warlock's gaze goes to the equipment, to your what you were wearing. He glances to the hook swords on your back. He glances over to the laboratory Are you on the run from the scientific authority too?
Svyatogor, at the mention of the scientific authority, he'll kind of like shut the door and then he'll look around and then he'll open it again and he'll be like, "Do not say that name."
You have nothing to fear from me. It's none of my concern. Can't imagine any survivor who grew up in the wastelands would be able to operate that laboratory equipment proficiently unless they had prior training.
Well, in another life, I was mycologist. I studied mushrooms before this happened, and he gestures to like himself.
I see. How bad is your mutation? Is it stable?
Well, it is stable enough. However, it was not through just chance. I did lots of studying on myself and to make myself stable. But I mean, the mutations, I was not so lucky staving those off.
I see. Well, we have a long day ahead of us. I'll turn in for the night. If you need anything within reason, let us know. I suggest getting some sleep. We wake at dawn tomorrow. Is there anything, Cyn, Willow, any interactions that you wish to make with Svyatogor before it gets dark?
Willow's absolutely going to make some. She'll kind of like shuffle really excitedly, kind of like a child. And she'll kind of come over to the door. What kind of mushrooms are these?
Well, they are all kinds, you see. I study and I produce new varieties of mushrooms.
Yeah, but like, what are their effects? She is about to ask you 100 million questions about mushrooms within the area. And she is going to proceed to write them all down.
Well, you see, it is not just a catch-all. Various different mushrooms do various different things. I have produced mushrooms to do many things.
Is there any interactions that you make, Cyn?
Cyn is just hanging out with Willow and making sure she doesn't get too excited.
If
Okay.
this man's gonna let me through the front door, Willow is absolutely going in.
Nope. Svyatogor pointed you to his vacant garage, and he intends to make you stay there. At least for
Yeah.
now. For now.
Yeah, see, it's Willow. There's mushrooms now. All of a sudden, you are her new best friend, or at least gonna attempt to.
Tell
She
you
will
what, I'm
sit
gonna do.
outside your door and ask you questions.
Svyatogor, he's gonna slowly get more annoyed and more annoyed and more annoyed. And then after about like 6 or 7 minutes of this back and forth with questions, he's just gonna be, hold on a second, I need to be right back. And then he's gonna shut the door and then never come back.
She is going to proceed to sit there for another 5 minutes until she actually realizes that you're not coming back. And then she's just gonna, oh, I thought you liked mushrooms. And then she's gonna like, not very nicely, like she'll shuffle back to the group.
He does like mushrooms, but Willow is just too much.
No, new bestie. Bestie, come back.
Small doses.
Bestie, come
Small
back.
doses.
Cyn's gonna go, this is what happens when you get too excited, I keep telling you.
I know. I just, these mushrooms are so cool. She's gonna like point to the very obvious poison mushroom. That one, I'm sure you could probably eat if you cook it right, but I don't suggest.
Cyn, I mean, Willow. Sorry, The tongue-tied brain. Willow, I've told you several times what happens when you eat a colorful mushroom.
Well, the last one nearly killed me. What could possibly go wrong? No, I'm not gonna eat it. I know. The last time I got really sick. I get it. She's just gonna like shuffle in and start cooking from one of her rations to make dinner.
You weren't really sick. You were bubbling at the mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
It's
it's
kind of like that
colorful,
time.
don't touch it.
It's kind of like that time that I licked a toad, huh?
Well, that was just funny.
That's because you dared me.
Well, you're the one that decided to do it.
Warlock-
Poor Warlock is just gonna hear like us bickering back and forth, just telling the stupid tales of the dumb fuckery we've done.
He just lets out an audible sigh of exasperation as
Will Warlock ever have an arc where the majority of his group are just not idiots?
No.
probably not.
This poor
Anyway.
man just wants to retire.
We cut back over to Migo and Clems. It's taking you a lot longer. Maybe it's because Migo is wearing so much armor as he's not able to move as fast. Or maybe because Clem is just old. Who knows? But it is eventually going to be nightfall. I'm going to give you two options. You could either attempt to force march at night, or you can set camp along the abandoned Highway 74 before continuing further. What do you do,
I vote for camp.
Migo?
I will also be willing to set up camp.
All right. Go ahead and deduce 1 day's worth of rations. That goes for Willow, Cyn's group as well. Migo and Clem, go ahead and deduce that for the day. You now have 6 days worth of rations. I'm
raising my hand.
Yes.
So can I perhaps request that Migo do a perception check? Not for anything crazy. I just want to see if he can see what Clems does at night.
I love this idea. I would be more than happy to. Migo, roll those bones.
15.
Well,
So, one of Clem's little nightly rituals is after he eats, he tucks Dog into his own sleeping roll and sits down next to him and reads just whatever he has. He reads it. And that's just what he does at night for Dog.
Migo is going to kind of like sit rested up against a tree, watching this for a minute. And he doesn't make a sound, but you can definitely feel like he has a grin on his face.
Oh, I thought you were going to say judgment, and I was going to be like, yo, what the fuck?
All dogs go to heaven. I don't know what you're talking about.
is there any other interactions that the two of you make before you guys prepare to turn in for the night?
I don't particularly have anything.
Excellent. I'm going to make a roll because you guys are camping out in the open in the wastelands. Oh man, here we go. 2 hours pass after nightfall as you guys begin to turn in for the evening. You immediately begin to hear the sounds along the road, the sounds of a handcart being pulled. What do you guys do?
I'm gonna look at Dog to see a dog's reaction.
Dog is barking.
But is it like an aggressive bark or like a hey, somebody's come to visit bark?
I would say, hey, somebody's coming to visit bark. He doesn't seem to appear threatened, more as though he is trying to just alert you guys somebody approaching.
This is the darkness of night, right?
It is.
Okay. I am going to stand there, still as the tree behind me.
As you stand there and prepare, you see two figures approach the campfire. One of them is a very large, muscular gentleman who's about 5'10". He is carrying pulling the handcart behind him, and in front of him is a shorter gentleman with jet slicked back hair, who is equipped with what looks like a pre-war leather jacket, but what is more particular is around his belt is a series of strange small instrumentation. Whoa, whoa, look what we have here! Other adventurers camping out at night! Oh, I didn't think that we would run across a group this late at night. How are you? How are you?
Don't stop barking at them. We don't got shit for you to steal, my friend.
Oh, come now. Who said anything about stealing? I think the appropriate thing is sharing. We have something to offer you. You see the gentleman who's pulling the cart who just is like, well, I don't think this is a good idea. I mean, we don't know these people. For all we know, they may attack us. Ah, nonsense, nonsense. Just because this is the wasteland doesn't mean that we shouldn't be friendly. After all, sharing is caring. I think that's the right word. Yes! He immediately goes into the back of his handcart and pulls out a series of strange pieces of scrap metal. And he even pulls out this stringy, brownish, orangish substance. Behold, the fruits of the wasteland and our scavenging efforts. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. I am Vaclav, and this is my friend Niklaus, scavengers extraordinaire and adventurers upon romantic tales of the wastelands.
Are you two gentlemen maybe used to sharing more than just the cart?
Don't know what you mean. Nick just smacks Vaclav across the back of the head. He doesn't mean anything by it. No. We just travel together. It was
I
on
would
him.
like to approach behind the two men, like stepping out of the shadows. And just, it's a little late to be trying to sell things, isn't it?
Oh, you see nothing but pure, unadulterated, abject terror in Val's eyes. Oh my, you're one of them. The Holy Order of Saint Ignatius. Whoa. Look, I do not wish to engage in the penance, but, well, is there ever a bad time to make a deal? After all, we sell this now, we can go back to scavenging and maybe find something even more valuable. Ah, even better. I have idea. You are clearly on some kind of a great and glorious mission. How about we come along and we offer you our services. Me and my friend here are scavengers, you see. We go about the wastelands, picking about its fruits, things that nobody misses, but other people could use. In exchange, you let us take anything that we might be able to bring back to Krakow that is valuable, eh? This is a good deal, yes?
Are your
You are.
skills outside of the love-making variety?
What? Val kind of laughs nervously, and Niklaus kind of looks away as if he doesn't want to acknowledge that particular claim.
Migo's
I'm
going
not
to kind
hearing a
of.
whole lot of no's.
Migo's going to lay his hand on Vaclav's shoulder. You can love who you wish to love. It's okay. But also, to my knowledge, there is no. What's the words I'm looking for? Rules against you scavenging from the people that I am looking for.
Oh. And who exactly would you be looking for, good sir?
They call themselves the Pilgrims.
The Pilgrims. Well, Nick, you roll me a 1d20 plus 2, Migo.
1 d20 plus 2 13.
These people know something about the Pilgrims, but they're afraid to say it. I think we should get going. Yes, Nick. What happened? You scared all of a sudden? Shush! We probably shouldn't get mixed up in this. Those guys are dangerous. There's always danger here, but we already volunteered to these guys. I know, but Vaclav fails to realize Migo is still standing right there and can still hear the conversation as the both of them kind of look up to Migo.
I'm going to wedge my shield in between the spokes of their cart.
Are you passively kidnapping these two young men?
What do you know?
Okay. These men did something very, very terrible. We came from an expedition out west. There is a homestead known as the Lendars. These men came through and they massacred their livestock, they salted their earth, and crucified everyone them. The only survivor was one of their youngest sons. He escaped, but just barely. Me and Nick, we got the boy to another merchant caravan headed to the city. We fled as soon as we could. These men you're looking for, they're not your garden variety raiders. They're crazy. Strange. I've never heard of the Vatican doing this before.
Migo is going to pluck his shield out of the spokes of their cart. We were just settling down for camp. Please join us. And tomorrow you can lead me to where you last saw them.
Oh,
Okay.
young man, you know I gotta get you to where you're going intact, right?
Do you believe me so easily torn apart?
I mean, I have the feeling that if I somehow tripped you and you ended up in water that is, say, 10 feet deep, you would die.
Don't believe me so
Vaclav,
easily bested.
Vaclav, in an attempt to achieve some measure of brevity in what would otherwise be a dark conversation, just claps his hands together. Well then, it's settled. We will go on a new adventure. Now, I don't suppose you will allow us to set up our stuff on the other end. We will not partake in any of your food. We brought our own stuff. If you need us, you can find us at our cart tomorrow morning, yes? They immediately begin moving their handcart over to the edge away from your campsite. It begins setting up for the night.
Well, now I gotta put dog back to bed. Come on, dog. Let's go to sleep. No, you don't get a second fucking story.